Hi everyone, welcome to Learning Brave.
Happy Easter 2020 to everybody.
Happy Easter. So to celebrate Easter time, we're going to take you on an adventure with us to Mexico.
Yes. 2 years ago, 2018, our family had the great chance to be there for over 3 months. And during that time, we had an amazing Easter.
It was colourful, it was scary, it was weird.
It was beautiful.
It was
sort of full on compared to the Easters that we experienced in
amazing.
Australia.
So come and enjoy an Easter in Mexico. Hi everyone, welcome to Learning Brave and Happy Easter. Say something.
No, listen, we got to get
You
the
don't just
mix
sit there looking pretty. Say something.
But I just want to sit there and go.
Happy Easter.
Okay, let's try that again. You're going to say...
That could have been good if you just kept going. We have to be natural so people like us.
Okay.
Okay. Start
One,
again.
two,
Stop clapping. Okay.
3.
Stop.
No.
Hi everyone. Welcome back to Learning Brave.
Happy Easter 2020.
Happy Easter.
We know that many of you guys this Easter will be spending it at home in light of the COVID-19 crisis, that not many of us will be traveling for exciting Easter adventures. So we thought today that we would take you back in time for our family and share with you one of the very most memorable Easters that we've ever had.
We're going to take you on an Easter adventure. We're going to explore and experience ancient religious practices.
When you try to make it like...
But that's how I am.
Yeah, I know, but
I'm
then
dramatic.
You stop and then you make it all weird and just... It was
I am
good.
weird.
It was
Shut
good.
up.
It was good before
No,
you...
it was boring.
Oh my goodness.
Ancient practices.
You know, you sound like Madame
Easter.
Trelawney from like Harry Potter.
Harry Potter's interesting.
We will go into the ancient mystics of Semana
Mexico.
Santa in Mexico. Yeah. All right, let's try that again.
I think that's great.
That's one way to put people off our channel, babe.
Hello, everyone.
Did I miss something?
I said everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, let's try that again.
Welcome to Learning Life. So, we have a habit of traveling to countries that we know like nothing about. Like, occasionally we have done research and it's a place that we've planned and prepared and been really excited about. But sometimes when you're a full-time traveler, life can take you in unexpected paths. And
Sometimes?
so,
What are you saying? Sometimes?
Fine,
like
all the
Czech
time.
Republic, Poland, Austria, where else? Serbia.
they
There's
were
been a
also
few.
places we didn't really
There's been a
expect to
few.
go. Which is actually my favorite. I love it when we go to a place that we never thought we would ever go to. It's so exciting. So for us, Mexico was one of those. Now, coming from Australia, Mexico is really exotic. It's really far away.
In fact, the only thing I knew about Mexico was that old movie. What was it?
It was Speedy Gonzales.
Oh, yeah,
That's
sure.
yeah,
The cartoons.
So, like, literally, that was all we knew. Like, we'd be like,
Ripa.
Mexico, yippity yippity. Like, what?
Andre! My name is Speedy Gonzales.
And tacos. We knew
Yeah.
about tacos. There was
But there was also that
Oh, we
movie
had
with
this-
Steve Martin. You know, like the...
I'm Lucky Day. I'm Ned Niederlander. I'm Dusty Bottoms. So together we're the Three Amigos.
Okay, that.
That one.
Okay, 3 things. That, we had Speedy Gonzales, we had, is it the Three Stooges?
No, it's like the three...
The Three Amigos?
The Three Amigos, that's it. The Three Amigos.
And tacos.
That's it.
Well, but our version of tacos. So in Australia, we had this brand called Old El Paso, and they did like Mexican-themed ads.
Nacho, nacho, man, yeah. I've got to be a nacho man.
We didn't even know what a taco
No,
was.
we didn't.
Taco was like a hard shell taco. That's the only kind of taco we knew.
I think they get that we had no idea.
I'd never met a
about
Mexican.
Mexico.
I'd never, like Spanish, we don't learn Spanish very often in our schools. Like
Yeah.
my
Well-
school had Italian
Mine had French, German.
or It's common for schools to have Japanese or Indonesian, Asian languages,
Chinese.
European languages, but Spanish isn't really very common.
Yeah.
Anyway, for us, it wasn't a culture we know much about. I mean, now that we've spent quite a lot of time in the US, we feel sort of stupid because like Latin culture is such a big part of this continent. And so it's, it's much more common, the food and the language and everything. But for us...
But we were green.
So green. Like, if you think of a place that you know only 3 stupid things about and they all come from TV, imagine going there.
Like Kazakhstan. Or
They might not know 3 things about Kazakhstan.
Or Uzbekistan.
If you only knew about Russia from
James Bond.
And maybe Anastasia, the Disney movie.
Or what you see on mainstream American media too.
And like Hitmen. Yeah, if that's what you knew and you went to Russia, that was us going to Mexico.
I did not get that.
Anyway, I would do anything for Mother Russia.
I would do anything for Mother Russia.
You did that really well.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
So suffice to say, we didn't know much about Mexico.
No, but we ended up going to Mexico because that's where life took us. That's a long story. But anyway.
Which we will tell you all about later.
We will tell you. We will get to how we got to Mexico and why we missed a flight and all the dramas. There were dramas. Anyway. But that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about Easter. So we'd been in Mexico maybe a month and before Easter, yeah?
Well, yeah, we arrived in February. So we'd been there a couple of months. But I think going back a step, we first of all, when we arrived there, we thought that we would start our couple of months there by living in one of the beautiful Spanish colonial cities.
San Miguel de Allende.
But within 2 days...
Well, actually, it is beautiful. I mean,
it is.
The reason we went is because we had other world schooling, traveling families telling us, you'll love it. It's perfect. You don't have to have a car. You can walk everywhere. Sounds great. It's artistic.
And
There's
then
lots of good things.
I guess after our first foray out into the streets of the city, we realised that our 5 children and us probably didn't quite match a city.
Any city.
City.
Always forget that.
we need what's behind us. We need the bush.
This is our native habitat.
We need the bush.
Every time we can visit cities, but anytime we've tried to live in a city, which we keep trying to do, like I keep trying to hike, but I hate it. Anyway.
Yeah.
We keep trying to live in cities. So this happened in Mexico. We went to live in this city and it was awful because our kids were like going to get run over and it was so stressful. Like to survive, we had, we created this formation that we would walk where Ross was in the front with the baby and then the children would line up behind him like ducklings and then I'd bring up the rear. And so we'd walk in a single file everywhere we went so that we could keep everyone alive.
Well, so we didn't die.
Yeah, that was important.
But we were handed a lifeline. We actually found a place just outside of San Miguel de Allende where we stayed and it was a nice
we almost left, so we freaked out, almost left.
Gated community and man, every time I try to tell a story, she cuts in.
She just misses important details, like why we were leaving. Anyway, we tried to live there, almost died a few times, and were freaking out, and we were like going to fly to the jungle. Remember?
But we didn't. We stayed, and we were handed a lifeline. We had a great little place that we had for the next couple of months, just south of San Miguel, and there was a pool and there was condos. It was sort of wasn't really Mexico, that we had gone there to experience, but at that time it was something that we needed. And I guess that's another lesson. Sometimes you need to just do what you need to do to survive some experiences.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a bit out of town. We had to catch a shuttle to get into town. There was a terrifying pool with no gate. Yes. And we have a crazy, insane toddler who likes to fling himself into every water source and off any cliff. Anyway, so we spent a lot of time at the pool protecting his life.
We did. And on one particular time, we were there at the pool and there was a lot of other residents that lived in that area. And we'd seen some of them, but, it was you just met them. You sort of didn't didn't get to know them very well. But, one thing that we've learned is that our children are often a great avenue, a great segue into making friends and experiences. We've done that many times before. And
particularly, sorry, I need to say one thing. Particularly babies. So we were saying in our last episode that it was insane that we left to travel with a 7-month-old baby and 4 other kids as well.
But man, he
opened up so many doors. Oh man, everyone loved us because we had this cute baby. It was great.
Yeah, like he
was a pain, but
what about
also useful.
in Italy? Like all the grandmothers would see us walking down the street and they'd count us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bambini. Oh, bravo, complimente. It was good fun.
So
Mexico,
having a baby helped to bridge gaps. So even if we didn't speak the same language, everyone could smile and coo at a baby. Like, it was really great, actually.
So I guess the beginning of our wonderful Semana Santa or Easter experience in Mexico of 2018 began poolside in our little condo. And there was another lady there with her children, and how old was he? About 1.5 at that time. He decided that he would... I don't think I was.
Now, why are you telling this story?
I don't know. I just was trying to set it up, and then I was going to segue straight over to you, darling. So take it away.
It's my story. Anyway. We were at the pool, and my son stole someone else's food. Common phenomenon, but it has led to more than one friendship. If they're the kind of people that are okay with my children stealing their food, we can be friends.
Yeah.
Basically.
It's a bit like if they don't mind us going into their house and taking things out of their fridge, we can be friends with them.
What are you taking things out of their... You mean helping yourself to something to eat?
Yeah, like if we go into someone's house and then I go to their fridge and I take something out of it and they're not fazed, then I know that we can be friends straight away.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah.
So if you're our friend, please help yourself to our fridge.
And expect me to do the same back.
Yeah. Anyway, our son Bowen stole some of their food and I couldn't get him to stop. And then it led to me getting to know the mum, and her name is Rocio, and we became really good friends. And so over the next couple of weeks, we got to know them. She got me exercising every day. Oh, I hate exercising.
Yeah, you know that she's a good friend when you can get her to start exercising every day.
Anyway, we used to hang out all the time, and we loved them. So Easter break was coming up, and Ross had a... Were you working
I was
there?
not. No, I wasn't.
He was jobless, and we were poor.
I was waiting.
But they suggested that we come on a holiday with them, and we were like, sure, as long as it's cheap. And so we basically went on a mystery drive. So have you heard of mystery flights? That's sort of a thing in Australia. Well, it was a while ago. I don't know if it still is. Anyway,
sure.
you buy a mystery flight and it'll be like somewhere within the country and you can be surprised. So we went on a mystery holiday. So basically...
Was it 2 weeks?
Yeah, we basically just rented a car and followed them. We just drove.
Where are we going today? You'll see. Okay, no worries.
We had no idea. And this is Mexico. Again, remember, we know nothing. We did learn what a real taco was. That was delicious.
But what it ended up being was it was a little holiday over the Easter break with a Mexican-American family who were coming back to Mexico to really be near their roots. And we had an opportunity to tag along and to experience the real Mexico. And that's the sort of travel we love to do. And I guess if there was a theme for this episode, it is this. The theme is that you do not get to experience authentic countries unless you really, really get to experience authentic people. And we certainly did that through this experience.
And you're willing to just go out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, willing to follow them anywhere.
Absolutely. So we loved them and trusted them. And so Rocio and George and their kids, and we just followed them.
We went
into Michoacan. So we drove into a different state of Mexico, into Michoacan, and they took us to the rancho of their family.
So, I mean, one of the first experiences we had was when we went to, Skylar's introduced her friend Rocio, her husband's Jorge. And so we went with Rocio and Jorge and their family, and we spent a night in, I think, Jorge's sort of parents' ancestral home there in somewhere in the middle of Mexico. And they called it the rancho. And I was expecting sort of like horses and cowboy stuff.
We didn't know what to expect. We really went in pretty blind, and we just were sleeping. I don't know.
Just
we were dusting
in
off
rooms.
dust covers and
Yeah.
sleeping on the floor, and we were trying out Michoacan ice cream, and we were meeting people from the town. And I know that we draw attention when we walk places because we're blonde, and we're all blonde, all 5 kids, and it's a bit of a sight in places where there's not a lot of blonde people. So I tend to just not pay attention. I just like live life and don't notice it. But I remember at one point we went to get ice cream and we came back, and I remember saying to George, were people staring at us? And he was like, yeah.
Well, we were sort of rural Mexico, and
we're loud, we're really loud.
I don't think it was a place that normally had sort of white families like us arriving just for the heck of some sightseeing.
And we are now here to tell you that in Michoacan you can eat pasta flavoured ice cream.
Nasty.
My son loved it.
Nasty.
I didn't try it. I did try cheese flavoured ice cream.
Almost as bad as alfalfa ice cream.
He had that too. Mexico, the land of ice cream.
Oh, yeah.
Who
yeah.
knew? We had
Who
no
knew?
idea.
Who knew?
We didn't know about that. That wasn't on the cartoons. The land of ice cream and perfect hair. Everyone there has perfect hair.
The other thing I remember from that trip was that we one morning we were told, hey, by the way, my uncle has invited us all over for lunch for breakfast. And so we head over there, and Jorge's uncle, who lived across the road, had invited us all over there, and we had this really traditional Mexican breakfast. And I went out there with Jorge's
All of
uncle,
us. There's lots of
our
us,
whole
like
family,
7
and,
of us.
and all of them. There's
Yeah.
5 of them.
Into this little home.
And then we went out back, and we had to find the little cactus trees, the nopale, and we were cutting live cactus leaves off and skinning them and eating
We were
them.
slicing it and just
Slicing
eating it
just
fresh.
eating it fresh,
out
and I was
in the
like,
backyard while the grandma was cooking up beans and eggs and all this
Yeah.
Mexican food.
it was great. It was a good experience to be able
I
to do
remember
that.
we tried that like weird dessert that's like, it's like condensed milk but in like a block.
Oh, I don't remember that.
We tried a few new things and it was amazing. They were so welcoming. We understood well, Ross learned a little bit of Spanish. I learned almost zero. I'm
Sweet
terrible.
nada.
Yeah. Nada. I'm really bad at languages. You can travel and be crap at languages.
Yes.
I am the proof. Anyway, we were sitting in this kitchen with friends. Rossio and George were there and their kids, and then all this like family, and it felt so welcoming and beautiful. It felt like real Mexico, and it was just amazing. Anyway, that was the lead up to Easter. So we had that experience.
We then we got a chance. So Easter was going to be held for us, or for our group during this trip, at a place called Juan Dacareo.
That's like my favorite Mexican word.
I love
Juan Dacareo.
Juan Dacareo, Juan Dacareo, Juan
Juan
Dacareo,
Dacareo, Juan Dacareo.
Juan Dacareo. I love saying it. And anyway, so I was really excited about this. I'd never experienced Easter outside of Australia, and I was excited to see what that was going to be like. So we had a chance. Rocio's parents and aunt actually lived in the town of Juan Dacareo. And one of the famous things in this town was that they had like Christmas. We're not talking about Christmas, we're talking about Easter. I always do that. On Easter, I think Good Friday, they have processions that go all the way through the city, and they have like music and people singing. And I thought, oh yeah, this will be really quaint. There'll be like some little procession. Man, I did not expect what I saw.
It was amazing. And they had multiple ones over the days of Easter. So they had different, remember there were at least two different ones. And what they do is I need to call Rossio and get the details.
We might just cut that out of the video because we don't know what we're talking about. But
they have a statue of Mary, and they
follow it.
Lupita, and it's a special statue that like heals people, and they carry it through the streets, and then all the people follow with candles, and they sing.
They sing hymns.
And when they were doing this, there were like thousands of people
Yeah,
in the
like-
streets. Like at
I
one
kid you not,
point
it was like a 2-lane road in town, and the house was on that road. And I remember sitting there on the sidewalk, and as people proceed up, there was no room. Like the whole road was completely jam-packed. And this house actually was 3 stories, and so I went all the way up to the top with all my kids, and we were looking from the 3rd story down, and the whole length of the road was completely jam-packed with people singing and had kids on
like
shoulders.
singing hymns, they were singing reverent spiritual music, and they had candles. It was so amazing. And we're Christian, we're not Catholic, and I grew up going to a Catholic high school, but I just never seen anything like it. Like
No.
It wasn't our faith, it was different, but it was so spiritual. We were just so impressed and amazed at
Their devotion.
the devotion and the dedication and the love that came from all of these people. They'd travelled from pretty far to come to this special Easter experience. And another thing they did, this is actually before the procession. Anyway, they do this special thing. I'm sorry to every Mexican person who actually knows what I'm talking about, and I'm butchering it. I'm really sorry. This is my dumb gringo version.
Nacho Man.
But they do this really beautiful thing where people who have made a promise to God and God has blessed them, in gratitude, they may have promised to like come to this special place in Juan de Carreo and do this walk, and they do it in a sacrificing kind of way. I'll just explain that really bad.
Yeah, I mean, Rocio, our friend, she did that. She had made some promises to God previously, and as a result of that,
Because He'd blessed. So if they desperately need a blessing, and they pray to God, and God blesses them. So when they're desperately asking for this blessing, they might say, if you bless me with this, I will go to Juan de Carreo and I will do the walk without shoes on, or I will do it blindfolded, or I will do it on my knees, depending on the level of
We saw that too. We saw people blindfolded. We saw people actually walking through the streets. They weren't walking, they were actually crawling on their hands and knees as a sign of respect to the sort of blessings that they had received from God. And this was their way of showing Him that they remembered it. And that was pretty moving.
And people were so respectful of that. I saw one, I can't remember if it was a man or lady, but one person, and they were doing the walk on their knees, and it looked like their daughters were running in front of them and placing cardboard in front of them as they shuffled along the stone, because it was very uneven cobblestones. It would have been really painful. And it was just such a beautiful thing to see and to experience at Easter.
Yeah, we felt really special. We attended the Catholic Mass on the Sunday morning, which was the first Catholic Mass that I had ever attended. And it was so fun to
Wait, you're missing the bit.
What?
You're missing the story of the crucifixion.
Oh, yeah.
He fell asleep for
I
the
did.
best bit.
I was absolutely smashed. I went to sleep. And
We'd been up eating too much ice cream. I don't know. Too much pasta ice
well,
cream.
that was one thing about our friends Rocio and George. We could stay up late and we could talk a lot, and I often did that.
So we, during the middle of the day on Easter, Good Friday. It's Good Friday. Yeah, on Good Friday, they do a passion play through the streets, and I have never seen that. We don't have that in Australia, and they don't have that in the US either, do they? I've heard of a town in Europe that does it, but it's not super common. Anyway, it doesn't exist where we're from. I've heard of it, and it was in the middle of the day. But Ross had taken a nap, and it happened really suddenly. Like we knew that there would be a play that moved through the streets, and that's all we kind of had understood. Translation was sometimes a bit.
Didn't realise, I think, from what I heard, they didn't realise that it was going to be a full-on reconstruction of Christ's
journey,
final hours.
Yeah, it was
to the crucifix.
It was amazing. So Ross was napping, and the procession came through, and I kind of like
right past our house.
Yeah, right past our house, and so I just grabbed the kids and we joined in. Rocio was with me and George, I think, and we followed this procession, and then we lost them, and so we had to like cut through the town to try and meet up with this procession. Anyway, we finally met up with them, because they'd move along as a group, and then they'd pause and they'd reenact different passages from the Bible. It was all in Spanish, so we didn't understand everything, but we got the gist, because they were like, it was really realistic that they were actually whipping Christ and yelling, and everyone was in costume. It was amazing and kind of scary. And at one point, you weren't there, but at one point I wanted to get really good photos, and so I was kind of like edging close, and I was obviously a foreigner. I didn't see any other foreigners there, and they saw me. They could see that I was a foreigner, and so they like let me in the ropes. So I ended up in the actual acting circle, taking photos, trying not to get like sprayed with blood. No.
So fun.
It was amazing. And so I'm like taking photos of this play and
the passion play.
Yeah, it was, so Christ was being whipped and tried and all of this stuff. And then they do little bits, and then they'd kind of like pick it all up and move to a different location. And we all headed to this hill just out of the city, and for him to be crucified. And we all gathered on the hill, and it was amazing. Like I've never seen anything like it ever before. It was incredible. They crucified 3 people. I
don't think there were any nails though, were there?
Well, it was pretty realistic. Like they had music and they had people chanting and like even the clouds were coming. It was amazing. And the acting, they took their job really seriously. And I'm there with my kids, and my kids are going, "Are they really being crucified?" And I was like, "I don't think so."
I hope not.
It was all in Spanish. I didn't really know what was going on. And then I was like, they just look way too relaxed. I don't think so. I think it's all pretend. And they were like, okay. Like, but it was really realistic. Yeah. And then, anyway, so oh my gosh, my brain. The thieves were crucified first, and they were lifted up. It was amazing. They were literally tied on these crosses, and then I assume tied, and then lifted up. And then they would say things, and then women who were dressed like Mary and the other women in the story were like weeping and wailing, and we watched the Crucifixion for Easter, and it was disturbing, but in a good way, like, because we're Christian. And I was like, kids, this is what we believe. Like, this is the best Good Friday we could ever imagine having. Like, we were in the experience, and we really thought about what it is that we believe.
So I guess, this experience we had at Easter 2018, there was, it was a big theme here, a big theme behind this experience. This would never have happened. We would never have been in Juan Dacareo experiencing this with our friends had we not got out of our comfort zone and got out and met people and became brave and just been friends with people. Like, we knew them, but when they invited us to go traveling through Mexico with them, we could have said, "Oh no, look, it's too dangerous. I don't think we can do that." And
actually, we came home and someone said to us, "Oh, you lived.
Yeah,
thought you might die."
You need to be careful about things.
We don't travel to any place that we really know is really dangerous, but most places are okay.
Yeah.
Most places. Anyway.
And you need to just use caution.
Yeah, our friends who were Mexican told us it was safe, so we followed them and we trusted them. And because we went out of our comfort zone and we were able to meet people from the country, we just had the most amazing experience. Like Easter, we'll never forget.
And I guess the message here for you guys in today's clip is authentic experiences in particular countries come when you make friends with authentic people from those countries. And we certainly had one.
And you're willing to get out of your comfort zone.
Oh, yeah.
Jinx. I hope you enjoyed our story about Easter. Hope you have a memorable Easter yourself.
Happy Easter.
And I hope you dream about making some amazing Easter memories somewhere in the world one day.
Indeed. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.
Oh, wait.
What?
Wait.
What?
Hit subscribe. If you'd like to hear more amazing stories, hit subscribe.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Stop clapping!